Hello, everybody! I'm Curio Wave, and welcome to another edition of Dish It Out. As I already said my name, so let's introduce our guest first.
Hello there, I'm Alucard, or Baocakes98, whatever you want to call me.
Alright,
And I'm Teacher X Casform, 1, 2, 3.
Tree!
Alright, I'm Tree, also known as Trika 101 Piplup or Espeon Ghost.
I'm Susan the Cario Fan, aka Shiny Coordinator.
Oh, hey guys, Magma Cleric here. Once again.
Alright. Now, today we're going to be talking about... Well, Magma, you brought up the idea, so why don't you explain it to the others?
Alright guys, what we're doing here is we're talking about our cartoons that we would like to see get brought back, maybe a reboot or just the whole series be brought back in general, or maybe and we talk about the dangers of reboots that could possibly happen. Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, we'll get to that, possibly. Anyway, so now that we got the context set out of the way, Jacob, yup.
Alright, as for shows I want to see in some form come back for whatever reason, are mainly shows that never finished their run. I really guess an example would be Ed and Eddie, because there's like one episode of season 6 or 5, I don't remember which one it was. And then they just scrapped the whole season for a movie. Like, at least finish the season. And I'd like to see them finish the season. As for reboots, I'd have to say, I'd like to see a Courage the Cowardly Dog reboot. For some reason, I do. Because, mainly, the creator wants to come back and do it. So, why not let him? I mean, why just keep pushing him aside? Just saying, screw you. Slapping him down, it just gets on my nerves when things like that happen. And, well, yeah. Other shows that I'd like to see rebooted or reimagined, I'd have to say, I'd like to see, I would like to see, Jimmy Neutron come back for another season. That's the show I was thinking of. Because I really like that show, and, I could see it coming back. Yeah, it had a crap spin-off, but that was because it starred a side character. You don't have a show starring the comic relief, okay? It doesn't work.
But it works so well on Friends!
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Another show. I mean, these are just shows off the top of my head, like, just some one-off shows. The Critic probably had kind of a shallow chance because it was pretty much overruled by The Simpsons. God, the Devil, and Bob. That's another show that should come back for another season. Now, as for reasons why reboots are dangerous, well, quite a few. Bringing the show back, even if you do bring back most of the crew and most of the cast, people are still going to complain. Because saying...
I was just going to say, just like
you're good.
with Teen Titan Go.
Yeah, and then people are going to be complaining that the older episodes are better. I mean, it don't matter what it is. Yeah, in some cases that is true. Like Family Guy, like SpongeBob. But again, or that's at least the general consensus. But again, the dangers of bringing back a show, well, even in a very short time, like Family Guy, it got rebooted 2 years after it got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Futurama, the same thing. And the shows kind of went through a change. I think Family Guy went for more of making the characters one-dimensional, where the original show was kind of just a Simpsons clone. And for a lack of a better word. Whatever. Anyways, but then they throw that all away. I mean, it's okay if you're going to make an identity of your own, but if you don't even worry about the characters, you want to make them as horrible as possible, and like just, I mean, I like horrible characters, as in like they're horrible people, but they don't. But here's the thing with Family Guy: they don't have a reason for doing horrible things. They just do it because potatoes. I don't know. But yeah, other shows that had pretty crappy reboots. You know, Teen Titans Go is another good example, like about how not to reboot.
Don't even let me get started. You know what? I'm probably going to get started when it's my turn anyway. So.
Alright.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, that show is just awful. It doesn't matter that it's has the Teen Titans name. It's still awful. The producers even acknowledge that it's stupid. When you call your own show stupid, that's pretty bad.
And speaking of producers, they've actually admitted they've never seen a single episode of the one that they rebooted, the original Teen Titans. They've never seen a single episode of it.
In other words, the Slade episode, never seen it. Robin episode, never seen. Cyborg, never seen.
Never seen at all.
Yeah. Alright, continue.
So yeah, that's really just my thoughts on the dangers of reboots and cartoons I'd like to see come back for another season.
Alright. Alright, who's up next?
I think that'll be my turn.
Yeah.
Well, I think our next guest.
Yeah, it was Swift and then Tree.
That's us.
I think I would like for reboots for a cartoon. Well, I guess I would like, well, like, not for a reboot, not for, sorry, for a comeback. I would like to see a 2011 Thundercats mega return, seeing as though it only lasted one season.
Mm-hmm.
Same goes with Sonic. Sad AM. Well, considering how it left us on a freaking cliffhanger.
Archie Comics!
Yep, like, it also, he was one, and then all of a sudden the elevator came out of nowhere, and I forgot who his name was. Claimed that it was his turn to roll, and then some eyes appeared in the background.
I can't believe I'm gonna say this. Ixis Nagus.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know, just like, I think most people would like to see it as to who it was, despite some people not reading the comics.
Oh please, they're too busy bitching about Sonic's eyes. Yeah, I said it.
Or Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
Anyways, I guess I would like to see brought back is Samurai Jack and Megas XLR, considering how most people see them as classics.
Okay.
Because they never
As
finished.
said by the Arctic Flame, that Megas XLR was indeed an interesting show.
Mm-hmm.
Considering how it has one guy piloting a giant robot whose head is a car. That is awesome. Oh, for reimagines, I would. I'm going to probably get a headshot for this, but I would like to see a reboot of Captain N.
The
Well,
Game
considering how-
Master.
Yes. No, yes, the Game Master, not that Master. That would be very odd.
Game Master.
And
Did they not notice that? I don't understand.
No, I don't think they did. Anyways, I would like to see it brought back for, like, and hope that, like, seeing as how it was the first crossover it did with most of its video game characters, which, like, both the concept alone is very interesting. Or, not the concept, I mean, the idea of Captain N is quite interesting.
Hmm.
It has all of your favorite Nintendo characters and other video game characters come together in, like, a collab. The execution of, like, per se, the characters are not exactly the same as you know of. Pit, that title Kid Icarus, a whiny and annoying Mega Man, resembles Popeye.
Papa the Sailor Man.
He would have to have a sidekick called We and another sidekick called You.
Oh god.
And oh dear God, what did they do to Simon?
Oh, don't even get me started on that. How did they make Simon Belmont, the Vampire Slayer, a freaking Priss?
Oh, yeah. It was so bad. Yeah, it was so bad that they gave him a drill and then he piloted this. Wait, wrong series.
Anyway,
Back in a Castlevania game.
like, to admit,
Shitty
the
fighting.
design of, like, so to admit, the character of Kevin is actually very interesting and a cool person.
Echo.
That being said, the voice actor, not so much.
Yeah. Alright.
Well, I do admit, I do like the idea of adding a new princess in, i.e. Princess Alana, into the series.
And she's about as useful as Daisy.
But despite that, I would like to see her in the reboot more useful and action-packed. Heck, give her a story. Heck, make her more... Heck, have her actually fight.
I can see a reboot of the show with like really shitty AAA titles.
Oh god.
Oh dear.
Like they have freaking Master Chief and Assassin or freaking Altair. Again, a Big Daddy. That'd be pretty cool, Big Daddy, being there.
Or alongside such other atrocities, like Metroid Other M, or
Yes.
or Mario Galaxy.
That wasn't in there. It was made in 2009 or 11. It was made in the 80s.
I know. That's what I was referring to for the reboot. Okay, let's get to the point. Susan's right.
They should put Sonichu in there.
Come on, come
He's a
on,
fan character.
come on, Jacob. Let's get to the point. Okay.
Well, seeing as though, like, you know, but as checked on DeviantArt, there was just one user who has the imagining, or the same idea, as Captain in Reboot, which I will admit, most of the designs are actually very cool. Most notably the new main villain,
Okay.
and the main protagonist. And hopefully I will have Wave link his channel.
Well, if you give me the link after we're done this, then I'll put it in the description.
Okay,
Alright.
and actually,
Should we get to the why you think reboots are dangerous, Swift?
alright, as Alucard said best, reboots barely happen. There, like, as for reboots, movies, for example, most of them are easily either summed up as this: Jack Crud.
Okay.
Like the example being 2001 Planet of the Apes remake by Tim Burton.
Okay.
And I don't know if this counts, but need I mention the horrendous and awful Batman and Robin?
No.
We don't speak
Precisely.
to that on this channel.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Alright. Anything else, Swift, or?
Well, other than that, I do hope there's a reboot of one good thing, or good, if I can remember, if I can. God, I can't think of anything.
We can't think of it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But I guess I could have if that's alright with you, dang it, I lost track. But, never mind, But if that's alright, I guess a Kirby reboot might do it, while keeping Kirby characters still intact.
Alright. You done, Swift, or? Good. Alright, Dre, you're up.
Okay, so what should I start with?
Oh, get to the point for one. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of cutting around, so.
What cartoons do you think deserve a reboot?
Well, the cartoons that I think should have a reboot. I think they're pretty good right now, to be honest. Maybe Courage the Cowardly Dog. Yeah, that was a pretty good show when I was a kid. Pretty dark, but pretty good. Sometimes I even question why my parents even let me watch that show.
Okay. Now, what shows do you want to see come back?
The shows I want to see come back are Megas XLR because Yeah, that was a great show when I was a kid. It reminds you of the good times.
Okay.
And what about the dangers of rebooting a show?
And the dangers of rebooting a show. Okay, now I'm ready for my Teen Titans Go rage. That show is a bunch of...
Ow, son of a bitch! Seriously.
Sorry, I didn't want to curse.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll mail you for the ear damages. Ass. Just get to your point. That hurts. Okay. Just get to the point, Tree, please.
Okay, it is awful. Compared to the old one, it is awful. Like, wait, even you said it yourself, the old Teen Titans is better than this crap.
I will save that for later, so go ahead.
Like, the characters don't even act like they would, or how they were supposed to. And plus, they, like, force the shipping. Like, Starfire and Robin. Yeah, in the first one, that happened naturally. In this one, they're just throwing them together, and they're calling it, like... What is that, even?
Okay.
Okay, that's it. I don't want to go into further detail about it.
Alright. Susan, you're up.
Alrighty. As for cartoons that deserve a reboot, I'm not really sure, really. 'Cause I don't really pay much attention to cartoons anymore these days. I guess... Well, not really. I'm really 100% sure what to think of it. So, I don't know what cartoons even deserve a reboot. Or, I don't know any that want to come back. However, the dangers of it, I mean... Well... Yeah, I did not think this through. Maybe if, like, somehow the Pokemon Company would, like, remake their first season episodes to make them look more official. Oh wait, I think I do know a cartoon that deserves to come back. The older version of the Scooby-Doo cartoons.
Okay.
Because, let's face it, I love the show growing up when I was watching as a kid.
Okay.
I think that's really it, aside from them wanting a Scooby-Doo to come back, and maybe dangers of them rebooting, because it would really depend on the generation, because newer generations coming in with, like, the newer series of Pokemon. At least the newer generation should at least get to know the older generation of Pokemon, like from Gen 1. Like the cartoons from Gen 1, at least maybe make them look a little more, like, realistic.
I agree.
Like they are now.
Even then, I really doubt... Well, even then, there's a shit ton of episodes, so unless they had to pull a Dragon Ball Kai, I extremely doubt that would work anyway. But I get it. Okay, Susan.
At least put them back, like the older series back on, like, streamings on Cartoon Network. So at least this way the newer generation can at least see the old gen.
Actually, I want to correct you here. They do play the older episodes on Boomerang.
And there's also Netflix.
Boomerang cartoons. Well, they're separate things, though. I mean, not all people can afford Netflix and get Boomerang.
$8 a month.
True.
Fail.
Except I kind of use that every day. Almost.
They do.
No, even if they do put it on, I mean, there's some who can't really afford it. Can't afford Netflix or Boomerang, so.
Alright, Magma, you're up.
Alright, before I get started on my stuff, I just want to acknowledge our fans who's been listening. the reboot, no pun intended, the show Reboot is actually getting a reboot, and it will be here either next year or 2017. So
Amigas.
Reboot is literally getting rebooted. So with that out of the way, I can move on to what I want to talk about. Shows that should be rebooted should be like maybe Dexter's Lab should get a reboot here, because it had great stuff, and it was a good show for our generation, and I can see them bringing it back, not you, duh. I can see them bringing it back and kind of making it for this generation, but with our generation's comedy in it. Maybe even bring back Seth MacFarlane if he doesn't run it into Family Guy issues. The other one I would like to see, since I talked about reboot getting rebooted, Transformers Beast Wars. The way CGI technology is now, we can clean it up, we can make it look 10 times better, and the story of Beast Wars was awesome. It blew my mind then, and if they would bring it back and clean it all up, it'll blow my mind now. The dangers of rebooting, however, is like Jacob said, is like Family Guy. They had a spin-off, American Dad. Great, awesome show. The dangers of rebooting is you have older generations and you have newer generations. When you reboot it, do you keep them all at the same age and just go with the same stuff that's been working for years, or do you age them up? Do you make everybody older, or do you marry this people off, or whatever? And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the magma shield up here. Two shows I want to see canceled and stay canceled for a while: Simpsons and the Pokemon. Now hear me out. Pokemon can be brought back. We can do like what Susan said and bring the first one back as a reboot, but now it's been a while, nobody's seen the Pokemon, so now they, oh hey, this is Generation 1, oh it's got newer stuff and better this and that. This is awesome, better writing, better storytelling, better voice acting. And that's pretty much for me.
Okay, and it's my job to close it off. Shows that I want to see rebooted. Frankly, a lot of the shows that are planned to get, that I want to see get reboots, are already getting rebooted. Shit like Powerpuff Girls is getting a reboot. I heard Scooby-Doo is getting one, though that one's not even a surprise. Flintstones currently has plans for a reboot by Seth MacFarlane, though that was up in the air for years. Pokemon, I do not want to see rebooted. I want to see the series end, and largely because it has stayed the same for so many years. But I'll say that for later. Honestly, I don't see any shows I'd want to see rebooted, because the shows that I want are already getting remade. And the same goes for the second category. Problems with reboots. One, a lot of the shows that are getting rebooted are shows that, when they originally aired, started to suck near the tail end of their run. A lot of people were discussing the Powerpuff Girls reboot, and I saw this on social media a lot. But the fact of the matter is, the last 2 seasons of the show sucked ass in comparison to the first half of the season. And I hate to throw pot shots at Magma here, but the same happened with Dexter's Laboratory. The last couple seasons were not as well received compared to the first 2. But
Yeah, that is true.
yeah, but that's just the problem. They're bringing back shows that didn't do too well originally. Now, I don't have a problem with creators not going back to do the reboot. A bunch of people got really pissy when Craig McCracken was stated that he wasn't going to be returning. It's like, does it freaking matter? When he was even doing the show, the tail end of the series started to suck. So I don't think it would have really mattered anyway. Plus, he had no involvement in that 2014 special, and I'm rambling again. I think another problem is... Oh, yeah, now I'm going to get into this. Teen Titans Go. Okay, first off, I want to clarify this, that it is a spin-off, yes, but it was intended to be a comedy. Whether or not the comedy was handled well is subjective. But then again, I didn't like the original Teen Titans. I outright hated the show. So I didn't... And even I hate Teen Titans Go. But then again, it's not for me. So you know what I do? And this is what, frankly, everybody who hates Modern SpongeBob should do. You see the remote right next to you? Yeah, use that and click the next channel button. Stop watching it. By watching the show, you are intentionally telling the companies, hey, we want to see more of this shit. Anyway. But yeah, I didn't even like the original Teen Titans to begin with. In fact, I thought it was one of the worst animated shows DC ever made. However, even I admit, Teen Titans Go wasn't that good, but... That's another problem with the idea of reboots is, well, when they don't really do anything to improve the story. Thing with Thundercats, too, is that with that in the 80s, it had its charm because, well, okay, let's be honest, a lot of the stuff made in the 80s was made to sell toys. Let's not even beat around the bush with that. However, the problem with a lot of these ones nowadays is that they try to be way too edgy and dark. Like Thundercats was a lot more serious than the 80s version, and that's the problem. You want to know a large reason people hated on the Michael Bay Transformers movies, and yes, there's a point to this, because it was way too serious. They tried to take it way too seriously. And now I'm going to invoke the Power Rangers fan base. That little Power/Rangers thing, that was made as a joke to all these remakes and reimaginings and reboots of all these 80s properties and 90s properties getting dark, etc. Yeah, that's not a joke. People seriously are doing this, and that's kind of annoying. People are seriously doing this, and that's a problem. It doesn't have to be freaking dark. It's ridiculous. Freaking papers. Anyway, so that's the problem I find with it, is that they try to take it way too seriously with all these shows, and you know what? I'm going to be a bit of more of a dick here. I don't think a Samurai Jack reboot would work, because, especially in this day and age where everybody's a bunch of pussies, especially kids. You know how shitty parents are for modern age, like 2000s. That's the sad truth. I mean, how many shows like Young Justice and whatever got canceled because of their violence and etc.? Way too many.
Just to clarify, the magma shield is still up, you know.
Magma what? Oh yeah, the shields. Okay.
This is the show's fault that our kids are violent.
Yeah. It's not like we have to pay attention to them or anything.
Yeah, then again, these are the same parents that should that should take the advice and use with a condom, but that's a whole other debate. The bottom line is that that's a big problem with reboots, and if anything, I think that's just that. If anything, I think the show should either be a sequel to it, or just make an entirely new property. Hell, I don't want Ben 10 to be remade or have a sequel, but that's getting a freaking sequel.
Listen, I have to admit that the first sequel was decent, but the rest of them, not that good.
Yeah. Hell.
Ben 10's also getting another remake.
Great.
Oh great, now we're gonna have like, how many remakes have that show has already? Oh yeah, that's
I've lost track.
10,
oh yeah, now 5.
10 remakes.
10 seasons, but yes. So there's that. And frankly, as I said, instead of just rebooting it, why don't you just make either a sequel or just make your own property with it? Because you're ultimately going to get screwed over. Look at how many people hate Teen Titans Go, or hell, let's look at Pokemon, for example. Instead of bringing it back, which doesn't make... or bring back the old episodes, which isn't even a logical idea in terms of marketing, why not just make a spin-off and just have the darker elements? Like, maybe make Mega Evolution Act 1, 2, and 3, or whatever, into a series. Because there are adult Pokemon fans, and the Pokemon anime is not going to be taken any more seriously than it already is. I can't even say that with a straight face. So, anyway, So while I
Oh yeah, that is true.
yeah. So as the salt from some of the Pokemon fans begins to weep, I think we should end it off.
You know what? I agree.
So that
I
concludes
honestly
the.
agree. We can keep making games, but no more anime because honestly,
So that concludes this edition of Dish It Out. I'm Curia. Everybody else.
I'm Magma.
I'm Malachard.
I'm correct.
I'm Trey.
I'm Susan.
And this concludes the Dish It Out. Take care.
Peace.
Peace.
Okay.